Welcome to Ohio 2025, where the Buckeye State is more than just cornfields and football. For the rest of us, let's dive into the good, the bad, and the downright ugly of living here. We'll be your cynical, slightly terrified, but ultimately amused tour guides through the roller coaster that is daily life in Ohio. Buckle up, because we're about to take a deep dive into a state that's somehow both charmingly mundane and wildly unpredictable. Think of it like this. Ohio is the family member you love despite their quirks. Sure, they might have a drinking problem and a penchant for conspiracy theories, but they also make a mean casserole and always remember your birthday. So, grab a glass of Buckeye vodka, settle in, and let's get this show on the road. Ohio's population has grown by 2% in the last year, with more people moving in than out. Employment rates are at an all-time high, with a 4% increase in job opportunities. The quality of life has improved, with more parks, better schools, and a stronger sense of community. Ohio in 2025 is a blend of tradition and progress, making it a unique place to call home. The cost of living in Ohio is relatively low compared to the national average, making it an attractive option for families and young professionals. Groceries, healthcare, and utilities are all reasonably priced, allowing residents to enjoy a comfortable lifestyle without breaking the bank. Public transportation is improving, with new initiatives aimed at making commuting easier and more efficient. Education is a strong point, with numerous top-rated schools and universities providing excellent opportunities for students. Healthcare facilities are modern and accessible, ensuring that residents receive quality medical care when needed. Community spirit is alive and well, with numerous events and volunteer opportunities bringing people together. Outdoor enthusiasts will find plenty to love, from scenic parks to adventurous trails and waterways. All in all, Ohio offers a balanced lifestyle with a mix of urban and rural experiences, making it a great place to live, work, and play. Let's be honest, no state tourism board is leading with their murder stats. But this is a judgment-free zone. Well, mostly. If you're the reason for your city's high homicide rate, we're judging you a lot. But for now, let's focus on the numbers. Cleveland had 177 homicides last year. Cleveland, always vying for that top spot in the Who Can Escape the Midwest First competition. Lake Erie is lovely, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is neat, but those homicide numbers, not so much. Columbus, the state capital, growing faster than a teenager in a buffet line, saw 175 homicides. Cincinnati, home to Skyline Chili and a robust arts scene, also boasts a high homicide rate with 94 last year. Rounding out our top 5, we have Toledo with 61 homicides and Akron with 50. If you're looking for a peaceful existence, these two cities might not be for you. But let's not forget Ohio's agricultural prowess. The state is a leading producer of soybeans, corn, and wheat. Ohio's dairy industry is also significant, contributing billions to the state's economy. From fresh produce to livestock, Ohio's agricultural sector is a vital part of its economy, providing jobs and sustenance to many. Now, let's talk about gangs, because nothing says community like a group of people who've pledged allegiance to a shared symbol and a questionable moral code. Ohio, like any state with more potholes than politicians, has its fair share of organized crime. From the streets of Cleveland to the backwoods labs, gang activity thrives in the shadows. We've got your classic street gangs, your motorcycle gangs. Now, we're not saying that every Ohioan with a leather jacket and a pack of cigarettes is in a gang, but we are saying that you should probably avoid eye contact just to be safe. Look, we're not here to glorify violence. We're here to make light of the absurdity of it all, preferably from a safe distance. Donald J. Trump, a man whose name is synonymous with, well, a lot of things. But for the purposes of this video, let's just say he's a polarizing figure. And nowhere was that polarization felt more acutely than in the great state of Ohio. See, Ohio is a swing state. We're talking about the political kind, where the electorate swings back and forth like a pendulum of indecision. Trump's presidency, much like a screaming toddler in a grocery store, left its mark on Ohio. Some people loved him, some people hated him, and some people just really missed having a president who could speak in complete sentences. Less born to be wild, more born to be mildly intimidating at the Dairy Queen. Ohio, with its sprawling highways and surprising number of Dairy Queens, is a haven for motorcycle enthusiasts. And by enthusiasts, we mean people who look like they might ask you for your lunch money, but then just want to know where the nearest Arby's is. Now, we're not saying that all motorcycle gangs are harmless, but we are saying that the ones in Ohio are more likely to be caught stealing your lawn gnome than your car. It's all about priorities, people. But hey, who are we to judge? Maybe they just really like the wind in their hair and the feeling of brotherhood that comes with wearing matching vests. Ohio, fun facts. Alright, enough doom and gloom. It's time for some fun facts about Ohio. Did you know Ohio is the birthplace of aviation? The Wright brothers hailed from here. Ohio is also home to the world's largest cuckoo clock in Sugar Creek. And don't forget Cedar Point, the roller coaster capital of the world. We're not talking about the Browns' losing streak. Every state has its secrets, those dark chapters in its history that it would rather forget. And Ohio, well, let's just say it's got a past that's more checkered than a NASCAR finish line. We're talking about gruesome murders, unsolved mysteries, and historical events that will make you want to sleep with the lights on. Like, remember that time a bunch of loggers in the 1800s supposedly stumbled upon a hidden city filled with giants? No? Well, it's probably because it never happened. But hey, that's the beauty of folklore. It doesn't have to be true to be terrifying. And then there's the whole infamous Lake Erie monster thing. Look, we're not saying it's real, but we're also not saying it's not real. Ohio's biggest cities, from mildly metropolitan to wait, people actually live there. Let's be honest, when it comes to big cities, Ohio might not be the first place that springs to mind. But hey, just because a city doesn't have a beach or a mountain range doesn't mean it's not a bustling metropolis. Ish. First up, we have Columbus, the state capital, and a city that's trying really hard to be cool. And you know what? They're kind of pulling it off. With a population of over 900,000, Columbus is the largest city in Ohio. Next, we have Cleveland, a city that's been through a lot. From industrial decline to sports heartbreak, Cleveland has seen it all. Despite this, it remains a key urban center with a population of around 380,000. Plus, they've got the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, which is pretty neat. Cincinnati, Europe. Home to the Bengals, Skyline Chili, and more hills than a Stairmaster workout, Cincinnati is a city with a split personality. With a population of over 300,000, it's known for its vibrant art scene and historic architecture. On the one hand, you've got your historic neighborhoods with their charming brick buildings and tree-lined streets. On the other, you have modern developments in a bustling downtown area. Ohio's population making history, making music, making this state more interesting. Ohio's community is more than just a statistic. It's a vibrant tapestry woven into the very fabric of the state, contributing to its culture, its economy, and its unique identity. From the jazz clubs of Cleveland that birthed musical legends to the thriving businesses in Cincinnati's historic Over-the-Rhine district, Ohioans have left an undeniable mark. Let's not forget the countless writers, artists, and thinkers who have enriched the state's intellectual and creative landscape, proving that brilliance knows no zip code. We're talking about a community that has consistently overcome obstacles, challenged the status quo, and demanded their rightful place at the table. They've fought for equality, for justice, and for the right to be seen and heard. Cheap thrills and expensive despair. Let's talk about the cost of living in Ohio, because nothing says welcome to the Midwest like realizing you can afford a 4-bedroom house, but can't afford to furnish it because you spent all your money on corn. The good news is that Ohio is relatively affordable compared to those coastal elites who pay $5,000 a month for a shoebox apartment with a view of their neighbor's air conditioner. You can find a decent apartment for a reasonable price, especially if you're willing to live in a city that's not Columbus. Now, before you pack your bags and head to the Buckeye State, there are a few things you should know. First, while housing is relatively affordable, everything else is slowly but surely catching up. We're talking about groceries, utilities, and that most insidious of expenses, gas. And let's not forget about taxes. The land of opportunity, depending on who you ask. Let's talk about minimum wage in Ohio, because nothing says the American dream like working full-time and still not being able to afford a decent apartment. Ohio's minimum wage is, well, it's not great. But hey, at least they're creating jobs, right? And speaking of jobs, let's talk about immigration in Ohio. Ohio, like many other states, has seen an influx of immigrants in recent years, and as with any demographic shift, there have been some growing pains. Some people welcome immigrants with open arms, seeing them as a valuable addition to the state's economy and culture. Others, well, let's just say they're not as enthusiastic. Outrow, Ohio 2025. Come for the corn, stay for the chaos, but maybe don't. So there you have it, folks. Ohio 2025, a state of contrasts where the cornfields meet the chaos. We've explored the good, the bad, and the downright hilarious aspects of living in this often overlooked corner of the Midwest. From its surprising homicide rates to its surprisingly affordable housing market, Ohio is a state that will keep you on your toes. Just remember to pack your sense of humor, your skepticism, and maybe a bulletproof vest, just in case. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more deep dives into the weird and wonderful world we live in. Stay safe out there, folks.